All right, guys, we're back now. Let's talk about it. Something I mentioned earlier. We're going to be talking about LeBron James's minutes.
He's got a lot of them.
It's one of those things where I get frustrated with the coach like Lou Williams, whose offense is basically predicated on one-on-one ball, where it's like...
What's their coach's name?
What did I say, Tyron?
You said Lou Williams.
That's 6 man like Lou Will?
6 man like Lou Will.
No, sorry. Tyronn Lue. So Tyronn Lue's offense, something I hate is the fact that, and the reason why Kyrie left is because it was predicated on one-on-ones, driving in, and making sure that the three-point shooters were open around the key. Something that worked one time, and although you got a championship, congrats, you don't have the pieces and players to do it now.
Yeah.
And so what I get frustrated with is that LeBron James has to play above, 38?
I think he's like 38.4 or something like that. Hold on, give me a minute and I'll find it.
But anyway, he plays at least above 35 minutes a game, so he's not getting any rest.
Mm-hmm.
And Tyronn Lue is just obviously doesn't care about LeBron James at all and saving him for the playoffs. Like, it's one of those things where you can't save him now because it's a very tight race.
Yeah.
With all the teams now have jumped up in the East after everyone called it like the weakest team in ever.
Mm-hmm.
I just get bamboozled, kerfuffled, whatever.
Bamboozled.
Whatever word I want to use.
Goodness.
It's just one of those things where I just get no idea where Tyronn Lue has the audacity to kind of play LeBron James that many minutes when you know you need to save him for the playoffs. Because honestly, what it comes down to is the Cavs can get a huge, big lead with LeBron in, and they cushion it to like 20 points,
Yeah.
15, whatever it is. But then the lead cuts back down to like 4-6. And then LeBron James has to do it all over again. And sometimes they lose, sometimes they win. But now they're starting to win a little bit more.
Yeah.
But still, this team is very disappointing to me in terms of they're playing LeBron James too many minutes.
Okay. Well, I'll defend Ty Lue. I don't think he's making that decision. I think that's entirely LeBron James's decision. And I saw a post-game interview with LeBron James where he was saying, he's essentially saying he didn't, for his standard, he didn't come into this season as physically ready as other seasons. Mm-hmm. So I think this is partially him, expediting the process of getting more physically ready. He's getting fully back into shape by playing this many minutes per game. Okay. And I really do think he was so sick of losing. He's like, all right, I'm gonna do it until Isaiah Thomas gets back. Mm-hmm. Let me play the whole game, basically. I think he's making that decision. I don't think Ty Lue is doing that at all.
Well, someone needs to stop LeBron before he decides to play like 100 minutes a game.
LeBron James? I'll say this about him too. I have 100% confidence in him to play however many minutes a game he wants and still stay healthy. Seriously. The guy is so physically capable of doing whatever he wants. He's in such good shape. Mm-hmm. If he thinks he can do it, I think he can do it too. Really, that's how I feel about it. I mean, that's all I have to say. Like, if he thinks he can do it, I agree. Because up until this point, think of the injuries he's been sidelined with every once in a while, Yeah. It's like stuff that isn't necessarily like he got hit in the face and like broke his nose or whatever, or broke his cheekbone, whatever that injury was where he had to wear the mask. That kind of stuff is not anything pertaining to his physical health. It's just like somebody hit him in the face with a weird elbow and now he's out for a couple days. Other than that, he's almost went his entire career without any big injuries. I can't think of anything that's sidelined him more than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He always plays a ton of minutes.
I know that. I don't know. It's one of those things where I think he doesn't have to anymore, or he shouldn't be having to play this many minutes. Obviously, the least he played was that 2015-2016 season with 35, which is still a crazy amount.
That's a ton.
That is still a ton.
That is a ton.
Maybe I'm just not upset with LeBron's minutes. Maybe I'm just upset with Tyronn Lue's play calling ability. So I just think him as a coach, his offense is not very good.
Yeah, it's just not it's not well thought out. You know, that's kind of.
It's too simple.
But he's not really even like a coach. He's like a glue coach. Like he's like there to be friends with all the players and keep them all happy, kind of thing. He's not there to like. I don't feel like he's there to coach. That's just like my perspective from the outside looking in. I don't know. He doesn't seem like a coach. You can't tell me he's drawing up plays like Brad Stevens draws up plays.
No,
There's
or
no
Greg
way.
Popovich. He's probably just like saying, LeBron, here's the clipboard. Show us what you want to do.
Yeah, you come up with a play, LeBron, and I'll tell these guys to do it. That's
I don't know. I just think Tyronn Lue needs to go.
needs to go. Bring back Blatt.
Bring back Blatt. I mean, I don't understand how you could hate Blatt, but you like Tyronn Lue. I mean,
They're probably just friends with him. You know,
I think that's probably it. That's the only reason why. Because I think Blatt's a pretty good coach, and I wish he would get another opportunity in the NBA.
he will.
I'm sure he will. I mean, I hope so, because he led a team to an NBA Finals. So
He's a young dude.
I just hope they treat him with respect. It's just one of those things that, like, if LeBron doesn't approve of you, then the league is kind of like, oh, we should probably stay away from him.
Probably, yeah. I guess David Blatt is not as young as I thought he is. He's 58. Excuse my ignorance. He's a good coach.
Well, he's a young coach in terms of NBA experience. I mean, he only had, like, what, one season?
One or two seasons.
And then it was just like, all right, see you. And then he wanted Tyronn Lue, which is just like... I mean, if Tyronn Lue is really the buddy, why is he the head coach? Let him be the assistant coach. That's what an assistant coach is for, honestly.
Yeah, I had no idea. I mean, this team would be incredible with, like, I mean, I don't want to just use Brad Stevens, but even if they had Spoelstra, you know,
Yeah.
it'd be a lot better than Tyronn Lue as their coach. Be a lot more creativity on the play calling aspect of things.
Yeah, it's just... I mean, do you really want the guy that got crossed up and then stepped over by Allen Iverson? Is that who you want as your coach?
I mean,
not that really matters.
no, yeah, it
but,
doesn't really.
But, I don't know. Just, like, looking at how the Cavaliers have been playing...
Mm-hmm.
They've been playing very inconsistent at the beginning of the season. Now they've kind of gone back to winning ways.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's all just due to LeBron. It has
I
nothing,
mean, 100% it's LeBron. The other players on the team still aren't playing that good.
I mean, Kevin Love is inconsistent as could ever be. He's
Yeah.
he's definitely not the same player he was in Minnesota, and I think we maybe overrated him when he was in Minnesota, or at least some people did. I don't know if you were one of those guys.
I mean, he was playing on a team where he was the obvious number one choice for
Yeah.
everything, and they weren't good. So of course his stats were inflated. I do think he's not that bad, you know.
Yeah, but
he's a very above average player, but he's not an all-star caliber player.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna last forever, honestly. Like as far as this season is concerned, I think as soon as they, bust out this big win streak that they're on, LeBron is gonna stay like, all right, we're making the playoffs now. Like we
Yeah.
have a pretty good winning record. Now I can
take my time
I
off.
can take my time off a little bit,
Hit the beach.
I think that's kind of what it is. Like he's like, while I'm still, feeling fresh in the beginning of the season,
Yeah.
let's bust out this win streak, be clear and set for the playoffs, and then we can coast a little bit in the middle of the season.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see, man. I'm just kind of hoping Tyronn Lue figures out an offense.
Because I genuinely don't think LeBron cares at all what seed the Cavaliers are. I don't really think he cares if they get the one or not.
Yeah. I don't think they care anymore because, I mean, last year it didn't matter.
They're not trying to duck the Wizards like
Yeah.
Bradley Beal and John Wall said. They don't care who they play. They're probably gonna beat all you guys anyway. So I think that's kind of how they feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do we have any other topics to discuss?
I mean, I think, was there something you wanted to discuss?
I just wanted to talk. I guess I don't know. The way I wrote it to you, we were discussing topics yesterday. We were discussing the Western Conference.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there was a lot of hype about the Western Conference this year. There obviously always is, and like how good the Western Conference is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard some people saying like this is an 11-horse race. Who's gonna be the top 8 seeds?
Yeah.
Who's making the playoffs? And I feel like it's not that. It's a little bit more cut and dry than a lot of people said it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder why. I think Obviously, you can chalk up some teams like Memphis, partially to injuries because they were winning when they had Conley.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're not winning because he's not playing.
Right.
But then you have a team like the Clippers, and I know they lost Patrick Beverley, but their team is still good enough that they shouldn't be 7-11. You
Right.
know, Oklahoma City not playing very good. I don't know, man. I think like those three teams especially, I think a lot of people had high hopes for this year, and they are not looking very good.
Yeah, I just think it just all comes down to just looking at the teams, especially the Thunder and the Clippers. And I honestly think it comes down to coaching.
Mm-hmm.
The way that you have it with Billy Donovan, who I touted really highly, but what innovative offense am I seeing from the Thunder?
You shoot, I shoot. Now you shoot. Now I go shoot again.
I mean, if I really wanted to see this innovative Thunder offense, I might as well have just gone to the YMCA in Seattle if I wanted to go.
Basically, yeah.
If I wanted to see this kind of one-on-one type of offense. It just doesn't work anymore in the NBA. It's all about that Spurs movement, that Warriors movement. Even the Cavaliers kind of just drive and catch and shoot. I just think it's one of those where those teams are very disappointing. And a coach that I used to love with Doc Rivers, highly overrated. I think extremely overrated. Compared to what he was supposed to do for the Clippers,
Yeah.
he was supposed to win a championship since 2010.
Yeah, he definitely didn't do that. Yeah, he's not making it to the end of the season, in my opinion, because I think they're going to bust off like a big losing streak coming up.
Yeah.
Especially with Beverly out for the whole season. And you can't chalk every season up to injuries every single year.
Yeah.
And that's kind of Doc Rivers' like MO with the Clippers team. Like, oh, Blake Griffin's hurt. Oh, Chris Paul's hurt. DeAndre Jordan's hurt. Somebody's always hurt for Doc Rivers, and they can't win if they don't have everybody, which isn't a valid excuse. When you have a team like the Spurs who are playing without their one star player and they're still, the third seed in the West. So he's gone. Memphis, I don't even know who's Memphis' coach. I feel like I should know that.
It's the former Miami Heat coach. I can't remember his name. The guy with the glasses? With Eric Spoelstra when they won the championship?
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. I don't know his name, though. The Memphis Grizzlies coach, David Fizdale.
Yeah, so David Fizdale, a pretty good coach. He was under the Eric Spoelstra wing. I like him a lot. I just think he needs to rebuild that whole Memphis Grizzlies team, and they need to restart fresh. I think Mike Conley should honestly. I mean, I know he signed a big contract, but I don't think it was right for him to do that.
Yeah.
And I think he should have been traded, so that way they could just honestly reset the whole thing with the Grizzlies. Let Fizdale rebuild that team to the way he wants it.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
right now I feel like it's the same kind of. Excuse me. It's the same kind of team build-up since, those days when they were battling the Clippers.
Yeah, they're really not working with much right now, too. Like, I got to look at their starting lineup really quick. Just let's check this out, because it is not very good. Let's look at their depth, actually. So they got JaMychal Green, starting power forward, Marc Gasol, James Ennis III, Mike Conley, who's not playing, and then Dylan Brooks.
Just lack of depth.
There's no depth. And then, Chandler Parsons and Tyreek Evans, that's not a bad backup. Mario Chalmers is their starting point guard now, and he's not very good. Look at Ben McLemore. You remember him?
Yeah.
It's like a fourth pick in the draft. Nothing.
Yeah, the Kings definitely screwed up on that one. But
yeah, that's a side note.
But yeah, just that team, just not a lot of depth to me where it screams, hey, we can make the playoffs this year. Even though I think I did predict them to go into the playoffs.
Yeah.
They honestly could because I think Fizdale is a very good coach. I think it's just all depending on that 8th and 7th seed. Because I think the top 6 seeds are almost kind of, in a way, figured out. The Nuggets will still have to figure out if they can win without Paul Millsap.
They can definitely, those positions will change, but I do think those 3 teams will be the 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, but the Clippers, just very disappointing. I'm very surprised that they kept Doc Rivers as a coach. Mm-hmm. I know they stripped him away of his general manager position in terms of signing players and what players he wants to bring in. Because, I mean, if you're bringing in your son to be one of those players, that's a little bit sus.
I knew we want to talk about Austin Rivers. I do think Memphis has probably the best excuse for the season. Like, if you look at their team, the fact that they were going to make the playoffs was based on two dudes, Marc Gasol and Mike Conley. Everybody else were just passengers on the ride.
Yeah.
So losing one of them, and we don't know how long Mike Conley's going to be out. I'll say this: I think Oklahoma City has the best chance of making the playoffs. I think they probably will end up making the playoffs.
Right.
But Memphis, if they can get Mike Conley back soon, they're probably the best team of the three.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, obviously not the most talented because you have the Thunder.
Best coaching, best team play for sure out of those three teams. Anybody in the Eastern Conference we want to discuss? I mean, it's crazy because I almost think the Eastern Conference is a little bit more competitive right now.
Yeah, I just think it's a little bit competitive. I know a lot of people are going to chalk that up to, the better players are out in the West, so there's going to be a little bit more competition in the East. But I just think the players in the East are doing a lot better job of showing out more than the players in the West. I don't know. It's a very different conference for sure. I mean, the East, you got your Porzingis, your Giannis, your Walls, your Simmons, your Embiids.
Because all right, let's look at this. Right, the first four teams out of the playoffs for the Western and the Eastern conferences. For the West, you have the Lakers, the Thunder, the Clippers, and the Grizzlies. Right. The East is the Knicks, the Bucks, the Hornets, and the Magic. I'm taking those four teams over the Western Conference easily. Just as far as quality is concerned, I do think Orlando's better than the Lakers, obviously. The Charlotte Hornets are a pretty good team, despite their 8-11 record. Milwaukee, most people think they're going to be in the playoffs. We said they were going to be. I still think they will. The Knicks, I'm putting them in the playoffs. The only reason they lost 2 straight is because Porzingis wasn't playing. He did play, I guess, in the Hawks game. But, I just think the conference, it's kind of interesting to see the quick change of people were all excited for how the Western Conference is going to turn out this year. And I feel like the Eastern Conference is really surprising people with teams like Detroit surprising people. The Pacers.
Pacers playing very well.
The 76ers, we thought they were going to be good, but a lot of people still thought they were going to be growing this year.
Yeah.
They're the 5 seed.
Yeah, I just think the East is a lot more interesting and more competitive compared to the West this year. I mean, obviously in the West, your 3 teams. The Rockets, Spurs, and Warriors. I mean, Warriors are going to be up there all the time. And just like in the East, you have your Cavaliers, you have your Celtics. But I just feel like it's going to be a lot more competitive in the Eastern Conference Finals in terms of when they play each other in the playoffs compared to what we have in the Western Conference the Western Conference, where it's like you have Pelicans who probably won't win.
Especially if they get rid of Boogie.
Jazz, very good coach, but not a very good set of players. A couple here and there. Nuggets could be hit or miss, depending on how they're playing. And then the Trailblazers the same way. But, I mean, that the Warriors and Rockets and Spurs are going to be at least in the, NBA conference finals. I mean, there's no denying that. I just think that the East itself, when you have the Pistons, who could play very well and match up kind of pretty good with the Cavaliers. The Raptors are going to be the Raptors. They're not bad. They're not good. They're consistent is what they are. 76ers, the exciting team. The Pacers, a team no one saw coming. The Wizards, Wall, Beal, all those guys should be a lot better than this. But I don't know. The East is going to be a very fun conference. The West, I think, is struggling this year after many people predicted that the Eastern Conference Final is going to be weak. The Western Conference Final is going to be more competitive. It's going to be a 10-man race or whatever, how many they said. I don't know. I'm just not convinced with the Western Conference Finals at all compared to the East.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think it's kind of interesting, though. Just, based on the hype, I think it's kind of funny how much it flipped on its head. Even the Brooklyn Nets, they're the third team at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. they still they're competitive, you know.
Yeah.
They go out and they've played some big teams and put up actual good performances. Whereas you go look at the last 3 teams in the West, you have Phoenix, Sacramento, and Dallas. Those teams are bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the East does have the worst team in the league, Chicago, but
Chicago.
Chi-Town, stand up. Mr. Chi-City, shout out.
District Tri-City, man. Great guy.
Anything else we want to talk about on the NBA charge agenda? Larry Nance Jr. is back tonight.
Larry Nance Jr., all right.
That'll be a good return for them, hopefully.
Looks like Kawhi Leonard's coming back in a couple weeks, according to Parker.
They've been saying a couple weeks for a while.
Yeah. I really want to know how bad that injury is. I know Popovich said it was probably one of the worst he's ever seen, but I can't remember if he was joking or not.
I thought he was saying it was the weirdest he's ever seen.
It's the weirdest and longest it's ever been.
Yeah, some bicep injury, right?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to me. But, Kawhi Leonard, when he comes back, that team will definitely push at least for top 2. Will they overtake the Warriors or will they overtake the Rockets? Those 2 teams, the Warriors and Rockets, are playing out of their minds right now.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, nothing really happened, I don't think.
Well, all right, this is the last thing I do want to talk about. Have you watched any of the college basketball, any of the big stuff going on?
Yeah, I did watch a little bit of the tournament that Duke is in.
All right. Have you seen any players that are really impressing you as far as their NBA credentials are concerned? I know you have one that you already mentioned to me.
Oh, I'm trying to...
Mr. Bagley.
Mr. Bagley. I almost called him Bargley, but no, it's Bagley.
Marvin Bagley.
No, Bagley the third, man. That dude played ridiculous. I think they were down by, 14, 15 points, and then they came back to win.
Yeah.
Duke's showing that they're a good team still. A lot of people saying that this draft class was going to be a little bit weak.
Mm-hmm.
But if you definitely have one of those top 3 picks,
yeah,
be on the lookout for any of those players. Luka Doncic from Real Madrid and the international guys. You got to be...
Colin Sexton.
Colin Sexton. We saw that game where it was 5-on-3 after a bench altercation and a player got injured.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make that stuff up.
Yeah. No, you seriously can't. This Duke team is going to have a couple really good players come out of the draft. And I've said it before. I think Grayson Allen's going to be decent in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking pretty good again this year. I love it, dude. I love this college basketball season, too. Arizona, despite the fact that they played absolute trash, a couple of their players kind of impressed me. I don't remember their names off the top of my head, so I probably shouldn't have mentioned them.
Mm-hmm.
Who else?
Other than that, every team is not looking too bad. Let me see the schedule real quick. See if there's any good games coming up soon. Syracuse.
Cuse Meisters.
They play, was it today? Yeah, they played today.
Play Maryland.
Should be interesting to see if they can get ranked up again. Would be nice to see Syracuse at the top.
That'd be awesome. I wish. I doubt it though. Anyway, guys, just if you're interested in this upcoming draft, my 2 recommendations, definitely Marvin Bagley III, and then I'd watch Colin Sexton too. I've really, really liked what I've seen from him so far, especially in that 40-point game, the 3-on-5 game. So check those 2 dudes out. We'll keep discussing as we watch more. I definitely watch a lot more NBA than I do college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not necessarily the best guy to look at for that kind of stuff, but I'm keeping my eye out.
Another thing, guys. It's kind of sad to report, but Michael Porter Jr. is not going to be playing this whole season. So, once he recovers from his injury, let's look at his tapes. I know Draft Express will probably do a very in-depth coverage of it, and that's a very good go-to place if you like NBA draft profiles of players, if you're interested in who's, what their weaknesses are, what their strengths are. Definitely look at Draft Express. They have a YouTube channel. Excellent people there. And, it's going to be interesting to see. We got a lot of players that are, projected to be, number 1 pick. We got Ayton, we got Doncic, we got Porter, Bagley. Even Colin Sexton's supposed to be top 10. So it'll be very interesting to see how all this plays out. Once, we get more later into the college NBA season and we've watched a couple games, we'll let you know what we're thinking of these players.
Yeah.
But, let us know down below, just because we want to start it off real quick. Who do you guys think will be the number one pick? Will it be Michael Porter? Will it be Ayton? Or will it be Bagley? Or even Sexton? You never know.
Who knows? Doncic. There's a ton of people you could see go in that number one spot. I don't think this draft is as bad as some people thought it was going to be.
No.
But we'll see when it comes down to the end of the season. And nothing else on the agenda?
I don't think there's anything else we need to talk about NBA related. Remember, we do need to talk about so we can get people aware. Let's talk about games of the week.
Oh, games of the week. Let's do it real quick. So today, Monday, the 27th, correct?
Yes, the 27th is today.
There's a couple big games today. You got Cleveland, Philly, which is a big game. You got possibly the LeBron of old versus maybe the new age LeBron and Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons.
That should be a good game. Detroit, Boston, the 1 and 2 seeds as of right now in the Eastern Conference. It's a good game. Portland, New York should be a good game too. Who else? Oh, Sacramento versus Golden State.
Our boy De'Aaron Fox.
Wonder who's going to win that one.
Hopefully our boy De'Aaron Fox goes off.
Hopefully. So that, not necessarily, there's a couple good games.
I will say on Thursday, because I know TNT Thursday is very good.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we have the 76ers Celtics game. Should be a very fun one.
Mm-hmm.
Bucks Trailblazers, another
It's a
good
decent
matchup.
game too.
And if you guys aren't a fan or you're trying to figure out how to feel about the Denver Nuggets, I guess a good test would be the Nuggets and Bulls game if you have NBA TV. I know, or you have the package where you can watch all the games or illegally stream it, however you want to consume it.
Whoa.
But, just to get a good look on how that team plays as a team instead of just one-on-one guys, what better way to do it than against a very, very bad Bulls team? But
Yeah.
they do have Markkanen, who is a very good rookie, so you should definitely check out that game.
As of tomorrow, there's two pretty good games tomorrow. The Wizards and Timberwolves, good game. It's probably the best game of the day. And then you got the Heat Cavaliers, which is a good game too.
Now, let's check out the Friday games. I know the 1st December, start of the Christmas season. Timberwolves Thunder should be a good game on NBA TV. And other than that, we have Pistons Wizards, not bad. But other than that, that's pretty much going to be all the games that I'm going to be interested in. Let us know down below what game you guys are interested in this week. Is it the Celtics Pistons? Is it the tonight with the 76ers and Cavs?
Mm-hmm.
Or even if it's the Bulls and Denver Nuggets. Let us know in the comments section which game you guys are looking forward to this week.
Yes, guys. Anyway, this has been Pete over at Fusion Corp along with Bernie.
What up?
Hit that like and subscribe button. Smash it.
Smashing.
Smash. Yeah, guys. Love you. Appreciate you. Thanks.
Peace, guys.